Welcome back, everyone. Tips and Tricks Gaming here. And today I thought I'd give you guys a video on my new and improved Magicka PvP Dragon Knight. Let's just get straight into it here. If you haven't seen my earlier video on my PvP Dragon Knight, I'll throw a link in the description below. Make sure to check that out. You might like it a little bit more than this build, but I digress. Anyway, so for this build, instead of using a destruction staff and a restoration staff like I did in the last build, I'm going to be using a resto staff pretty close to our last build's bar, and then I'm using dual wield for the increased spell power. So pretty much how this build works is it's really just based solely on PvP. I mean, it probably has its strengths in PvE as well, but lately I haven't been doing a lot of PvP at all on this character. But so for our dual wield bar, we're going to have Sea of Flames, and we'll have that on both of our skill bars, obviously, so it doesn't turn off when you switch between weapons. And then we're going to have Structured Entropy, which is a must for all Magicka users. I highly recommend this skill for anyone who's a DPS class, but it's going to increase our spell damage by 20% for 20 seconds. So we'll have that on there. We're going to have Fossilize, which is going to be our main, I guess, like battle starter and CC. The reason I use this more than different skills, for instance, like Stone Fist, which has knockdown and stuff, it's just the duration of it. If they are low on stamina, you can really get like a full heal in, or run around and get all your buffs back on before they have a chance to get up if they're low on stamina. So that's really helpful. Um, Next up is Burning Talons. We were using that in our old build as well. I left it on here because it's a great skill. I mean, especially paired with Flame Lash, when if you hit him twice while in Burning Talons, it'll proc the passive, which allows the actual Power Lash to not only deal 6k but heal you for 10k with my spell power. So not bad. I mean, that's what I'm rocking for our abilities. My ultimate on this bar is the Flawless Dawnbreaker, just for the use of the extra 7% per hit. It's kind of helpful, and since it's a Magicka user, pretty heavy hitter, hit like a truck when I use this in PvP. So that's our dual wield bar. Our resto bar is a tad bit different than last time. Sea of Flames, again, like I said, so it doesn't turn off between switching through bars. We have Burning Embers, which helps a lot for healing, throughout a long battle. I make sure I can apply this to as many people as I can. When it's done, it gives you quite a healthy heal. So I mean, it's not terrible to have. Green Dragon Blood. I switched back to Green Dragon Blood from the other morph. I don't know what it's called. Coagulating Blood, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But just because I think I need the stamina regen more for dodge rolls and such. It really helps out in long battles when I'm facing like a Nightblade or someone who's keeps CCing me and I really need to get out of those tough situations. Next up is Healing Ward. Obviously, going to be using Healing Ward. It's pretty fantastic. Great heal. That's going to be really most of our defensive abilities right there. And then I'm using Volatile Armor. I think this build is kind of a little bit squishy if you're not like accustomed to CCing and trying to keep the pressure on so you're not taking as much damage. So I use Volatile Armor just to help reduce the damage I'm taking, some damage mitigation. And then for the what's it called, the ultimate, that's what it's called, I'm using Standard of Might. 2000, just about 2000 flame damage per second, and increased damage reduction by 20% and increased damage dealt by 20%. Pretty fantastic ability, probably my all-time favorite ultimate in the game. Like if I can save up for this in PvP, I would definitely choose this over Dawnbreaker, just because once you activate it and you activate Burning Talons, really no escape. It's almost a guaranteed kill if you're smart about it and make sure you use it later on in the fight. So that's that for skills. For our equipment, we're going to be using 2 Toruqs Pact for the swords. That's what I've been using. You can use a helm and shoulder Toruqs Pact. I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the swords, since we're using dual wield for the spell power, I use 2 swords of Toruqs Pact. So that's for the extra spell damage. And then I just rocking a normal Vet 14 restoration staff for now. I really haven't figured out what I want to put there. I've just been bouncing back and forth between a few ideas. And then 5-piece Julianos as before. So with the 5-piece Julianos, if you can get divines on there or whatever, really fits your fancy. I know everyone kind of likes their own deal, especially if you have a different race than me. I'm a Dunmer, but if like you need extra regen or extra max because of your race passives, just throw in whatever helps you most. And then I'm using a 3-piece willpower set. And for my head and shoulders set, I'm using the two-piece monster set, which is Valkyn Skoria for a couple reasons. I really love it, but first off, it's just the two item set bonus is kind of nice when I'm playing defensively. So if I'm in the heat of battle and I'm taking damage and I'm a little bit low and I'm at like 50% or within execute range and they still have a life lead on me, I'll pop all of my defensive abilities and then just use dots and hold block. And it's pretty much free 5k damage when it does proc. It you don't even, obviously doesn't cost you any magicka. It doesn't cost any resources, so it's pretty powerful in my opinion. It really helps out in my build. I do know I have been testing out some other two-piece sets though. You can use the Seducer set, which I believe gives Magicka regen. I'm not sure, but I've been debating if I wanted to use a two-piece to get maybe some more max Magicka or Magicka regen. But right now, that's what I've been using, the Valkyn Skoria. It's kind of nice to mess around with, and the extra meteors are pretty bomb in my opinion. So that's that. And then for champion points, I'm not a big fan on champion point build. I don't feel like the game should revolve around how much you've played, but just for this, like purposely, I put everything into Arcanist for my Magicka recovery because I'm a Dunmer and I don't have a lot of Magicka recovery passives. And then what am I put all this in? Elemental Expert helps with our flame damage, like Flame Lash and everything. Since being a Dragon Knight, everything comes from fire. So I put all of my skills into that so far. And if you haven't noticed, I don't have a bunch of champion points. I think I only have like 203. So it's not the greatest. And then I have a bunch of light armor focus. So I am not as squishy as some other builds or some of my previous builds. So that's very helpful there. And so that right there pretty much encompasses this entire build. It's pretty much my Magicka 2.0 Dragon Knight for PvP. It's pretty close to my earlier video. If you've seen that, like I said, I'll throw a link to that in the description. Make sure to watch that. But it's just the only difference is I get a bunch more spell power from having the dual swords as our DPS bar, as well as once I'm buffed with entropy, I'm about 2,500 spell damage, give or take. So I mean that's a healthy little bit there. And then obviously we're gonna have all 64 attributes in Magicka. Totally spaced to put that one in there, but there's that. I'm gonna throw in some gameplay of this build in just a second here so I can show you guys how it works. I'll commentate over that. So yeah, see you in a bit. Alright, so here I am fighting a Vet 11 AD. As you see, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use Fossilize right here. Unfortunately, my Meteor broke me out of Fossilize. I'm going to use my Dawnbreaker to keep the pressure. He's going to get a quick heal here in just a second, right after I break him out of Fossilize with my Power Lash. He's going to come over here, and in just a sec, I'm going to use my Dot. And then I'm going to apply that. He's going to knock me down and break out of this real quick. And then I'm going to use Fossilize one more time. And that's going to let me proc my Power Lash to end the battle pretty quick. So, I mean, as you can see, it's pretty effective. Well, here we are at the end of this video. I'd like to thank everybody who watched all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. It means a lot that you guys watch my videos. Hopefully, I helped you guys make a DK that works well for yourself. Let me know in the comment section below, actually, if this helped you make a build of your own, as well as leave a like if you believe this video deserved it, as well as any comments or suggestions down below for future tutorials or gameplay, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.